Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Temple B'nai Israel's live stream of our Shabbat evening worship. It's a little bit trickier than usual, unfortunately, but this is our situation due to the coronavirus. But thank you for welcoming us into your home as we welcome Shabbat together. We're going to begin this evening with a prayer written by Rabbi Joseph Mesler called Out of an Abundance of Caution, which I think helps set the mood for us tonight and sets the mood for us into the future. Out of an abundance of caution, I am staying home.
Out of an abundance of caution, I'm washing my hands for at least 20 seconds, sometimes singing the ABCs, sometimes singing the Itsy Bitsy Spider, and sometimes saying a prayer.
Out of an abundance of caution, I am telling people how much I love them every day, sometimes multiple times a day.
I walk, making eye contact, smiling, and saying hello.
Out of an abundance of caution, I am not using the expression social distancing. Physical distancing, yes, Social distancing? No way.
Out of an abundance of caution, I have subscribed to a joke a day.
Out of an abundance of caution, I'm looking out for people who might be stressed and hungry for food and love and giving more than I have before.
Out of an abundance of caution, I'm paying attention more than ever to the words of my prayers.
Out of an abundance of caution, I have faith that love and kindness are contagious too.
Out of an abundance of caution, I am telling you I'm here for you. I care about us. I need you. And I want everyone to know that we are all in this together. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. On the page that you are looking at right now, hopefully you are seeing us live and in color streaming to you from Temple B'nai Israel. You'll see two links. One of those links will open up to a page that gives you the digital version of Mishkan Tefillah, our synagogue prayer book, the prayer book of the Reform movement. If you open that page in a new window and you sort of resize the page, you can have us side by side. You'll see our smiling faces leading the service, and you'll also be able to follow along in the prayer book. If you prefer not to do that, you can say the prayers as we say them. We'll go nice and slow, and I think we'll be able to, again, enjoy Shabbat together. Or on page, if you have the prayer book, on page 120, as we kindle these Shabbat lights. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat.
On page 123, we continue with Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei Shabbat ve'ahava ratzon hilchilanu zikaron le'maseh bereshit kilu yom tefilah la'mikra'e kodesh zecher tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'chata ve'otanu kidashta miporim v'shabbat kodecha be'ahava u'ratzon ilchatanu baruch atah Adonai mekadosh HaShabbat.
L'chaim, everybody.
L'chaim.
Let's turn to page 128 as we join together in Hine Ma Tov. On page 138 and 139, we continue with singing of Lecha Do Di. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And then as we greet the Sabbath bride together.
Lecha Do Di, B'nei Shabbat,
On page 144, we chant the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadav Yitkadash Shemei Rabbo.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach irutei ve'amlik malchutei. V'chayechon uvyom echon uvchayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, Bisman Karim, Vimru,
Amen. Yehei Shmei Mevorach, Le'olam Olam Me'amaya, Yitbarach.
Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, Yitbar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalah, Shemei V'kodesha,
B'richu.
Le'elah, Min kol birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechamata, Amiran Nama, V'yiru.
Amen. The bottom of page 145. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. Let's rise together, here and at home, for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. On page 149, praise to you, Adonai God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. On page 151 at the top of the page. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Let's join together with the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Stand at home. You can take your seats. We'll join together on page 154 with the Via Hafta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher Anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'divartam v'shivtecha v'beitecha u'mlechtecha v'derech u'v'shochtecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu hatotafot ben einecha u'chtavtam al mizuzot beitecha u'visharecha lema'at tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai Item kedoshim le'lohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
On page 157, at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that we were wherever we stood on Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. There is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. On the next page, page 158, a song of freedom, Mi Shamocha.
Come
On page 160, we say a prayer that asks God to protect us from all harm. That's especially poignant in these times. We can use God's shelter of peace, God's sukat shalom, to protect us from all harm. So let's join together with Hashki Venu.
Okay.
On page 162, a song that celebrates the beauty and joy of Shabbat, Bishamru.
Bishamru, B'nai Yisrael, Eret HaShabbat, Hatzot, Et HaShabbat, V'toratam v'Toratam, Bishamru, B'nai Yisrael, Eret HaShabbat, look at one. Eret HaShabbat, V'toratam v'Toratam. Israel, Oti leolam, Oti leolam, Bishamru, B'nai Yisrael, Et HaShabbat, Hatzot, Et HaShabbat, V'toratam v'Toratam. Sheshet yamim, asa Adonai, et hashamayim, et haaretz, Bishamru, B'nai Yisrael, et לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
On page 164, continue with the Amidah HaTefillah. We rise together. If you would like to at home, please rise with us.
Adonai sefatai tivta ufi agitei lotecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'hanora, El Elon, Gomer Chasim Tovim, Mekonei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chastei Habut V'imahot, U'mei Geula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Me'ahava. Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei kol atah Rav Hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'mori hagashem, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato mishenei afar, Michamocha b'gevurot, u'mido melech, melech memit u'mechayeh, u'matzniach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lechayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yadru chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We can take our seats. We're on page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat, on page 175. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayers. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God whom alone we serve in reverence.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha ira na'avod. And on page 177, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On page 178, a prayer for peace, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Tassim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Tassim Le'olam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tassim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tassim le'olam. Tov einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tassim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tassim le'olam. Tassim le'olam. Tassim le'olam.
We continue our service now on page 371 as our thoughts turn to our loved ones and members of our community who are in need of healing. It feels like all of us could use that Misha Berach prayer for healing right now because of all the stress and anxiety, the fear that we are experiencing at this moment in time as we are challenged by this new normal of the coronavirus. So I think we can all take that moment, make a deep breath, think about what we feel right now. What are we worried about? What stresses us? We can feel that anxiety, but also feel a sense of comfort knowing that God is with us in this moment. We are here for each other in this moment, and that we are loved by that unending, embracing love of the divine, and that is all around us at all times. Let's join together with our prayer for healing, Misha Berach.
Before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing, refuge they must. The renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We are thinking of and wishing a refuah shlema, a complete healing of body, mind, and spirit, to Janice Berman, Evan Vinn, Fran Brickman, Mark Edelstein, Brian Edelstein, Danielle Heyman Feist, Linda Fine, Eric Fisk, Buddy Green, Vicky Hano, Marvin Hollander, Fran Kipling, Lori Cattleman, Hank Corin, Wendy Sugarman Krasnoff, Wendy LaPrade, Elsa Mikosh, Miriam Merrin, Carolee Pizzuti, Janet Hofre, Jane Rifkin, Jess Rifkin, Ted Ross, Kevin Shower, Cal Simon, Dr. Cindy Steinman, Pete Tanner, Jean Weissman, Janet White, and Lloyd Zeldin. Take them all into our hearts with all those who are in need of healing as we say, Amen.
And let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
I can even hear you from home. This is certainly very surreal. It's a very different experience, as I'm sure it feels like for all of us. It makes me think about how our lives are changing right now and how we have to deal with this new normal. And it makes me think about the Israelites, where we are in the Torah right now. They themselves, as a people, are trying to create a new normal. They were just freed from slavery. This gaggle of slaves are now in the wilderness, and they have to create society. They have to create community. And that is going to be a difficult experience for them throughout their years of wandering in the wilderness, to figure out what does God want from them, and what do they expect from each other. Because for them, they have to figure out what it means to be a people, and how do they create a new kind of community, a new kind of society. And in order to do that, they have to create not only the laws that govern their day-to-day directions, but they have to create a sense of the sacred, a sense of holiness in their lives that's going to help bind them together as a people. It makes us think about ourselves, how we have to create, again, maybe new routines, new ideas, new ways of living that are going to help us through the next, hopefully, few weeks, maybe a few months, we don't know. But we know that we're going to have to change our lives for this foreseeable future and still find meaning and still find holiness, find a way to move forward in our lives. So the first thing I want to talk about today is from Parshat Vayakhel, is the creation of the idea of sacred time. So we have in Vayakhel, our Torah portion this week, found in the book of Exodus. We're right at the end of the book. It says, Vayakhel Moshe et kol adat b'nei Yisrael v'omer aleihem eleh hadevarim asher tzivah Adonai la'asot otam sheshet yamim ta'aseh melacha u'vayom hashvi'i yihyeh lechem kodesh Shabbat Shabbaton l'Adonai. Moses then convoked the whole Israelite community. He gathers them and says, these are the things the Eternal has commanded you to do. On 6 days, work may be done, but on the 7th day, you shall have a Sabbath of complete rest, holy to the Eternal. We have now a concept that we have in the Ten Commandments, gets fleshed out throughout the Torah, the concept of sacred time. There are some moments that are different than others for us. We have regular sort of secular time, we can do whatever we want, and we have sacred time, Shabbat and holidays. We're spending our sacred time together, albeit in a different way. We're trying our best to create that sacred moment, that sacred experience, that sacred encounter that we have with each other. But just as that same way. It's not just, during Shabbat for us. We have to create sacred time day to day, because now our day to day is going to be different than what it used to be. We used to spend our time perhaps doing other things, going outdoors to restaurants, to movies, to the beach. That's no longer going to work. We have to use our time wisely at home and create some sense of holiness, because our relative is going to be sort of slogging through this time together. Yes, there's benefit, don't get me wrong, to a little Netflix and chill. Okay, we all have to take that sort of deep breath and relax, but also to find time to maybe be creative, to get done things that maybe we wouldn't have time to do normally. Now that we're at home more, maybe there are some chores, some projects, some hobbies that we've been neglecting. Now we have that time to do that. Let's embrace that time. Let's take that silver lining from this cloud and try to find a way to use our time in a way that feels productive and that feels meaningful. In Vayakhel, we also get another note on the construction of the Mishkan, right? The sacred space. So we have our Shabbat, we have our holy days, our sacred time, but we need a place to gather, to worship in that sacred space. So all the wise people, all the skilled individuals in the Israelite camp are going to come together and build this tabernacle, this Mishkan, this portable sanctuary that we're going to carry all throughout the wilderness and make it this special, this sacred space. Our sacred space here at TBI is a little empty. It feels a little lonely here. It's me and Laura and a few other people who are helping out with the tech. But it's quiet and it's sad, and it shows us how much we need that community. We need to be together. But we shouldn't despair, because we're going to have that sense of community with each other, just in a different way. We're going to see each other through a video. We're going to make phone calls. We're going to send out our emails. We're going to find ways to connect to each other so we can create that sense of sacred space, that we can be together as a community. You're home right now. Again, you might be seeing more of it than you're used to. You might be not used to spending so much time at home. That's difficult. But can we find a way to make that time at home, that space, a sacred space? Can we be there with our families, with our loved ones? Maybe not too close all the time, but can we be together and find to make our space a sacred space? Whether it's, again, engaging through worship here on Shabbat, it's finding ways in our house to take a breath and to create a meditative space, a space to relax, and that it feels almost like that sacred space. Because for us, the Jewish people, we have a long history, a long tradition of sanctifying spaces. Okay, we create sacredness wherever we go. We have the ability to say, this space I consecrate as a holy space, so we can gather and maybe do things that feel special, that feel meaningful. So please embrace your home as a sacred space. Create that Mishkan, that tabernacle in your home as well. Last thing we're going to talk about tonight is the idea of creating a sacred self. So create sacred time and create sacred space. We need to create a sacred self. How do we do that? It says in our parsha that so take from among you gifts to the eternal. Everyone whose heart so moves them shall bring them gifts for the eternal, gold, silver, and copper. We read a similar passage just a few weeks ago in Parshat Truma. This idea that we are volunteering ourselves, or volunteering our goods, or volunteering our hearts to create something sacred. The Israelites at this time, it's not a tax. No one's forced to give to the construction of this sacred space. Sacredness has to be voluntary. We have to create that ourselves, but it's if our heart so chooses to. And the tradition tells us that all of the Israelites felt this overwhelming need to contribute. They felt the need to do something, whether they're giving material possessions or they're giving the gifts of their heart and their soul. They're giving their skills to build something beautiful. Now we're at home. We're not doing what we like to do, perhaps. It's a different way of living. But there's still time to create a sacred self, because we can't just withdraw. We heard that beautiful poem a little earlier in our service, the idea that it's not really about social distancing. It's physical distancing. Sure, we can't necessarily hug and embrace and go out into the world the way we would like to do. We can still project ourselves into the world in a positive way, using our online platforms, using the phone, using texting, whatever it is, because now is the time when people feel lonely, when people might be feeling afraid. There's a lot of anxiety. We don't necessarily know what's going to happen day to day, when this is going to end. But this is the exact time we have to be social.
We have to make our phone calls, our emails, we have to text, we have to send videos, send our love, send our kindness and our compassion to not only our loved ones, but those maybe who might just need something, need to hear from us, need to hear something. We could post, things online that can reach out to a great population. We need to do this together to make sure that none of us alone. And when we do this, when we volunteer our hearts in this way, I think it lifts us all up. It lifts our spirits and it lifts the spirits of our community. And it makes that sacred time and the creation of the sacred space even more present, even meaningful for us. Because when we're out there making the world a better place as best as we can right now, that I think is powerful. That to me says that our Judaism, right, can be expressed in so many different ways. Yes, we'd love to be together physically. I'd love to see you all here. I'd love to see your smiling face. I'd love to hear your voices. That we can't do necessarily as much as we'd like, but we still have to make that effort to reach out. We have to volunteer the best that is in ourselves right now, in whatever way we can, to give of ourselves, and to give to our community, give to our loved ones, to get us through this challenging time. So that is my challenge for you. It is my blessing for you on this Shabbat, is that we use everything that is within us to the best of our capabilities in a safe and secure way to make our community, make those around us feel better during this challenging time. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to turn in our prayer book now to page 586 as we will rise, if you would like, at home for Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu ככל העולם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
We're on page 598 and 599. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. We are observing the Shloshim period of mourning for the memory of Gwen Hirschfeld, wife of Jan Hirschfeld, mother of Lisa and of Eric, and so we send our condolences to Jan and his entire family on this loss. Those who died in the past year, we recall the memories of Hilda Sachs, Edwin Schumann, Roland Fox, Robert Sand, Lee Benjamin, Jim Shapiro, Mildred Cohn, Vita Elmis, Jay North. And we think about those who died this season in years past and those whom we have burned into our hearts with our own. We're observing the yahrzeit this week for Harold F., Felice Benjamin, Robert T. Benjamin Sr., Isidore Borsuk, Natha May Eichel, Robert D. Freeman, Frida Gertos, Adam Goldberg, Abe Green, Loretta Green, Ann Eldridge Hull, Hazel M. K., Louis Kissin, Lillian Kissin, Gussie Corin, Hortense Lasher, Elias Lefkowitz, Erwin Levy, Arlene Lieber, Felice Lopatin, Harriet Mannon, Ruth Maslow, Earl W. Moore Jr., Donna Morin, Lily Morris, Norman Ellie Moss, Rayla Moss, Edward C. Newman, Edward Nobler, George E. Owens, Abby Pesner, Alan Resnick, Samuel Rotman, Samuel Rubin, Isadora Ruttenberg, Elizabeth Schwartz, Ellen Leshner Shurak, Irving Steinborn, Revar Stern, Evelyn Thorpe, Ruth Ucklist, Ida Verona, Rezi Weil, and Esther Weinberg. We take all of their memories into our hearts as we join together with the mourners Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach cheruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon u'amechon u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'adalah v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Vorach Le'olam U'Almei Almaya Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yitpa'ar V'Yitramah V'Yitnaseh V'Yitadar V'Yitaleh V'Yitalal Shmei D'Kudesha B'Rechu Ve'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tush V'Chata V'Nechamata Da'amiram B'Yama V'Imru Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabbah Min Shemaya V'Chayim Mali Bial Kol Yisrael Imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimramav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Bial Kol Yisrael Imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on earth and peace to us, to Israel, and all of the world. Together we say Amen. Take our seats.
Shalom
Normally at this time, we call our president, Polly Krause, for a few announcements, but I don't see her here. So I have to just press on at this point. I'll give you a couple announcements myself that I would just say check your emails, answer your phone from the synagogue. We're going to be calling and emailing about future plans for programming, ideas. We have a lot of good things going on that we're thinking about beginning next week, ways that we can interact together without actually being together in person. So please pay attention to those emails. You're going to be hearing a lot from us. Hopefully no more than you'd like to, but we're going to be hearing a lot from us, from myself and from Laura, from our rest of our synagogue family, about different ways we can engage during this time. So yeah.
Watch the temple website.
Watch the temple website, quite literally.
Updates there too. Yes.
Quite literally, you can watch the temple website. There's a lot. I think it's going to be available for people of all ages. So we're looking at religious school programming and youth programming, online. Certainly the teaching that myself and Laura that we do on our Tuesdays and Thursday nights. We're going to be just trying to create different activities and moments for interaction, again, online together. And the leadership of the synagogue, the board of directors, the membership committee are going to be making phone calls as we all are on staff to just check in with people. Please, if something is going on, please contact the synagogue. We are going to be checking our messages, checking the phone, checking our emails. Let us know what's going on and how we can serve you during this time.
This has been a very challenging week for many people, but we have had some real success with beginning some of our online interactions, as Rabbi said. We had my Hebrew class via Zoom. We even had choir get together via Zoom last evening. And so we'll let you know how you can continue to take part in those things. And as we say, stay physically distant, but socially connected.
Socially connected. And
Yes.
Remember, wash your hands. Very important. Keep washing those hands for 20 seconds. Who may ascend the mountain of the eternal? Those with clean hands and pure hearts. Wash up and do right. We're on page 626. Ein Keloheinu. Yeah, I want to go old school today.
You want to go really old school?
Really
or kind
old
of
school. No. All the way back to Germany.
free
I want to go
thought?
back.
Oh my goodness.
I want to go back to the
Okay.
Bibles. Go ahead.
Rabbi has called it, so here we go.
Let's finish a little motzi, maybe a little challah at home. Hello. Oh, look at this beautiful challah. That's delicious looking. Ah, fresh baked. Motzi lechem min haaretz. Give thanks to God for bread. What that is. Our voices rise in song together. Said, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom.